What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So I have results. I have results, and I told you, if I got results and I felt good, whatever, I would get on here and talk about it. So, um, let's just say that Trump did not have a very good night. He did not have a very good night at all. This was a Democrat strong, left leaning, progressive strong night all the way around. And it huge historical election that is going to have, in my opinion, a huge influence going forward. It's made a statement, and we're going to go over it. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are, you know the whole spiel, okay? If you're new here, welcome to Clear Talk. Check out the channel, subscribe, whatever. There's, support if you want. If you are returning, you're freaking amazing. Thank you. Welcome back. So let's get over here to it. Have it here in the AP. First big thing is California voters approve new U.S. House map designed to boost Democrats in 2026, aiming to blunt the GOP changes elsewhere. So this is the California 50 ballot initiative to allow for the Democratic Party, Democratic, state legislation or whatever to redistrict the lines. This is, outside of the normal time they would allow, but, basically like an official accepted gerrymander of sorts. Again, like I said, it seems a little weird, to be okay with it, but at least this was done democratically where they were asking, and it passed overwhelmingly 65.1%. Huge win there. And for the yes. So that's big for California voters. Redistricting, to make sure that they can counter all the gerrymandering that's been going on in Texas and many other states. So that's awesome. Some Texas initiatives that I didn't know about happened. Texas voters approved congressional amendment that requires U.S. citizens to vote in the state. This, I think, was already a law technically, but they're just, I guess, making it hardcore in the Constitution. I guess that's what this vote was really for. So whatever, but it's set for 74% there. Texas voters okay constitutional amendment affirming parents are the primary decision makers for their children. I'm not exactly sure why this was a thing or what this could, what this really is about, unless this is some sort of school related thing or something else. I'm not completely sure, but that one won at 72%. Colorado voters approve income tax increase on higher earning households. I think it was over 300,000 annually or whatever, to fund meals for all public school students. This won 57% to 42. Yes, so that's pretty big for Colorado. You have a Democratic Sean Ryan wins Buffalo mayoral race. Huge win there. Probably, I would assume, was probably an expected win, but nevertheless. Democrat Jay Jones wins race for Virginia Attorney General, and I'm skipping these is because they are just runoff stuff. They're just not. They're just advancing to a runoff election later, so it's not like a definitive win or anything. Democrat Jay Jones wins race for Virginia Attorney General, defeating GOP incumbent Jason Miyares, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, we have a Democrat winning over a GOP incumbent there for Virginia Attorney General. That's Virginia, but it didn't stop there for Virginia. We'll get to that later. Pennsylvania Supreme Court, guess what? All three Democratic seats were yes votes. And not just, they were huge yes votes. 60.5% for David Weech, I'm not sure. I'm retaining his seat. 60% for Justice Kevin Doherty, whatever, retaining seat. And the Supreme Court, Christine Donahue, 60.8. So I guess they were all together. Well, no, the votes were separate, so they got to vote on them separately, even though they were all very, very close there, 60.8, 60.8, 60.5. But all three retaining their seats. So sorry, Trump and y'all are gonna have a harder time trying to come to make election changes in the state of Pennsylvania. The big one here. Democrat Zoran Mondani is won New York City mayor race. Big 50%, 50.4% over Cuomo at 41.6. And my understanding here is that, and you see Sliwa, didn't get, but it's 7.1. My understanding here is that Trump made this move apparently to push for Republican voters to, instead of voting for Sliwa, who apparently was certainly not going to win, to actually vote for Cuomo just to keep Mondani out of the office, just to keep him from winning. That's my understanding of what was attempted here. But apparently that did not sway enough. So huge thing there. And further again makes the argument that the Social Democrat progressive side of the party still holds the strength over the just corporate centrist side of the Democratic Party when it comes to voters. Democratic Representative Mickey Sherrill wins New Jersey governor race, 56.2 to 43. So there we have New Jersey race 1. Mary Sheffield wins Detroit mayoral race. This is nonpartisan, but she wins there. Democrat Corey O'Connor wins race for Pittsburgh mayor. That was huge. Probably expected win there. Democrat State Senate, Ghazala Hashmi, something like that, wins Virginia lieutenant governor's race. All right, and I'm sure he was the one that was going with Abigail here. And Abigail Spanberger, the centrist Democrat, wins against the GOP winsome Earl Sears, 57.4 to 42.4. So now that is a flip in Virginia to a Democratic governor. This again was more than likely going to be argued by centrist Democrats that this is the way to beat, this is the way you beat Trumpism. But again, look here. Zoran won. And I think that's the bigger take. A much bigger take. We have pretty big win in Atlanta, mayoral race there, and Andre Dickens is nonpartisan, but won that race. Cincinnati mayoral election. All right, so Paravel wins over Corey Bowman, the half brother of Vice President Vance, 78.2% to 21. This is huge. I mean, it was expected to win, but man, what a hit to J.D. Vance extension there. So yeah, that's the results. So everything that we talked about that could be that Trump and the administration has been trying to push, trying to affect, trying to change, trying to influence when it come to their campaign against the Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices there. There was a lot of money thrown into that state to try to prevent them from, retaining their positions, also that they could hopefully regain seats there and flip to, a Republican strong thing in 27 so that they could ultimately have a Supreme Court on their side for anything they wanted to do election related in Pennsylvania, to alter anything that they wanted to alter. And that overwhelmingly did not go their way. All the effect that Trump tried to make on the Mondani race, trying to, all the shit talking that they've done on Mondani, and again, trying to push even Republicans to vote for Cuomo so that the Cuomo could just overtake Mondani because he was going to have his support plus Republican support. And oh my God, he still didn't win. And of course, California's Proposition 50 to redistrict, huge there. All your other mayoral races and gubernatorial races, lieutenant races, all, again, the flipping of Virginia to Democrat, New Jersey Democrat. I mean, this is all a huge win tonight for anti-Trump. That's what this was for. Anti-Trump move. And voters are showing they are angry. They're showing that they are frustrated. They're showing that they are not going to allow, whether they're Trump adjacent or even just the risk of a Republican in office at the moment. Like, it is clear that, as can be with today's races. And no amount of influence that Trump and his administration had in any of the races mattered. They just didn't matter. And that's a huge take from today. So that's amazing. And shows a good sign, a positive sign for the country going forward. As we look towards next year for the midterm races and stuff. Now, that does not mean that Trump and his administration will not continue to try to influence and affect and change and do everything that they can to squall any kind of momentum or positive results for any left wing or even just left of Trump kind of candidate probably. But we just got to stay strong, get out to vote. And apparently today it showed that people, they got out to vote. So that's huge. So let me know what you think. I think this was a great day. And not only, again, one of the last thing, not only was this an anti-Trump day, but I would argue that also it was an anti-establishment day. With the Mamdani race, this was a pushback against not only Trumpism. That race was not only a pushback against Trumpism, but a pushback against the just centrist get along to, go along to get along, do nothing, corporate, corrupted wing of the Democratic Party. And that's huge. That is huge. And should give a lot of fuel to the more progressive, more social democratic socialist side of the party, the Bernie wings, the OCs, the Ilhan Omar, the all of that side of the wing of the Democratic Party should be fueled and should be justified for their importance and their support in the American people, I think. So, thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, peace. ClearTalk, I'm out.